We're live. What's up, guys? All you YouTubers out there checking in, following the business aptitude, if you will. Increasing that aptitude, the aptitude development. Aptitude is the word I'm using. I don't know why I'm using that word. It just popped up in my head. But we're solving your business problems. I liked, today's conversation because, it's almost like the gentleman's agreement in business kind of scenario, if you will. More or less, the conversation that we're going to talk about in this one is when regulation is required, right? So if you're following along and you do have, in fact, the book, The Daily Drucker, 366 Days of Business Solutions Solved, especially in this economy right now, it's imperative that you are sharpening your tools or you are falling behind. If you guys checked out my other video that I did on the playlist, supply and demand, you have to understand, listen, you can't control what's happening out there. You just need to learn how to maneuver. And the smarter you are at maneuvering and predicting what you're going to do next, the more successful you will be. In this conversation, right, we're covering at what point in time regulation is required. Now, Mr. Drucker gets a little elaborate in his explanation of this scenario. So I'm gonna read it to you, but at the same time, we're gonna kind of cut through it, if you will, and simplify it. Right. He says to make elimination of a detrimental business impact into a business opportunity should always be attempted, but it cannot be done in many cases. More often, eliminating an impact means increasing the costs. Right. So what was an externality for which the general public paid becomes business cost. So what's he mean by that? It therefore becomes a competitive disadvantage unless everybody in the industry accepts the same rule, right? So you have like MSRP, the recommended manufacturer's retail price, right? Suggested price. Whenever an impact cannot be eliminated without an increase in cost, it becomes incumbent upon management to think ahead and work out the regulation that is most likely to solve the problem at the minimum cost and with the greatest benefit to the public and business alike. And it is management's job to work at getting the right regulation enacted. Management, and not only business management, has shunned this responsibility. Right. So the action point, what detrimental business impact in your industry can you turn into a business opportunity or effective regulation? So essentially what's happening here is, so you don't want to allow for one entity to totally corner the market. That's what businesses are, is competition, right? So if someone is doing something and they're doing well with it and they're killing it out there and there's no competition, then there's no way to regulate whether or not what they're doing is unfair or not. There's almost a monopoly, if you will, right? And there's some guidelines against that as well, as far as regulations are concerned. So in your specific line of work, your business, your employees, or just you as an entrepreneur, what regulations are set that either hold you back or allow for it to be an actual gentleman's agreement between you, and it's not really a gentleman's agreement, I just like using that term, but between you and the next business that keeps you both in an even kill and not out there taking advantage of the public or setting some ridiculous points that really are unfair, if you will. We see that with some businesses. They try to get away with it with the price gouging and stuff like that, really manipulating the public when they're creating shortages or things like that, and people get hysterical. So that's really the conversation that's there with that one. Think about that. It's a real short and easy one. But it applies. This is business, right? So this is what we do. Thank you guys for checking in. Like, subscribe. See you guys tomorrow on the next one. We keep doing this, all right? It's a wheel. Keeps turning.